It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions. Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Monday? We do, you do. From the DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, coming off a great sports weekend, we welcome you to our Monday bonus podcast. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host John Riley. We welcome you to Hacksaw's Headlines. Podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. You got projects around the home. They've got materials. You want ideas. They can be your best friend. DIXIELINE Lumber. John Riley, good afternoon. Man, there's a lot of stories out there to talk about, and we got so much in terms of events that are about to occur in the world of sports. Great time to doing a podcast. How you doing?
Great. I'm having a great time. And the NFL was nuts this weekend, Lee. I mean, it was crazy. So we have a lot to talk about.
Only superseded by college football being upside down on Saturday. And by the way, there's baseball games to be played too. We're going to go a lot of different directions on this podcast. We do this podcast the way sports talk should be done. A lot of topics on the table, a few opinions along the way. And then when we're done, we open it up to you. And we're looking for first-timers, long-timers. It's called Fans Forum. John, how does this work?
Yeah. First timers, long timers, get on board. So yeah, if you got a question or comment in the world of sports, got some smack you want to lay down on the table for Hacksaw
or John
or me, sure. Yeah. If you ask for me as well, but just drop your take in the live chat on Facebook, on X, on YouTube, and we'll get you involved in Fans Forum.
Just a couple of reminders. I write about sports every day of the week. If you have never, ever checked my website, it's all written. You're really missing a bonanza of stories and opinions. If you just check the website, LeeHacksawHamilton.com, you get to read the best 15 minutes in sports every weekday morning. You get to read my one man's opinion column. I want you to do that. Also, you can join Hacksaw's Insiders Group. That gets us on the email list. We send out 2 emails a day to the Insiders Group. You can register on the website homepage. There's a big orange box. Fill it out. Get on the email list. You really like the stuff that we're emailing out. Want you to share. Tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Subscribe. When you subscribe, especially to the YouTube channel, you will get the alerts every time we put new videos up, and we do a lot of that during the course of the week, 5 to 7 to 10 different videos in addition to the podcast. Want you to give us a thumbs up. Want you to hit the follow button. Give us a 5-star rating. That helps us a great deal. And I want you on social media, because then you can take part in Hacksaw's mini polls, because I ask a lot of probing questions on social media on X. Stop laughing. I've seen you respond to my mini polls. Listen, just type in my name on Twitter, Lee Hacksaw Hamilton. Hit the follow button. That way you'll know every time there's something that I put up there. I normally put mini poll questions up there every evening. We're in the air everywhere on social media.
You're relentless, man. I mean, you just keep coming, with more hot takes the whole time.
It's your fault.
You don't slow down, man. I mean, it's great. I mean, I'm really happy that you're doing this podcast. I mean, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, we're in our 3rd year. Can you believe that? 3rd year together. We haven't shot at each other, although there has been a lot of verbal gunfire. But listen, we're glad to have you on board. We're going to go a lot of different directions. As I would tell John, ready, set, go. Let's talk baseball.
Yeah, we're going to kick it off with the Padres. We got a front office civil war cooking.
Nice headline. You're not going to get a Christmas card from the Padres either now.
No.
Let's talk about this Padres situation beyond where we were when we talked to you on Thursday. Padres won 90 games. All-time record attendance. Really feel-good story. Padres failed in the postseason. Now the manager quits. Now the unrest in the front office with all the sniping between coaches, staff members about who was Mike Shildt and how he treated people behind closed doors. And then to add all this, we find out, it appears to me, somebody has rolled barbed wire down the middle of the hallway in the front office at Petco Park, and on one side are the Seidler brothers and Eric Grupner, the president. On the other side are A.J. Preller, the baseball ops people, and Sheila Seidler, the widow of the owner, Peter Seidler, who loved A.J. Preller. I bring that up because Grupner has been given a 3-year contract extension to stay on. He's a superstar as it relates to the business end of the Padre operation. Preller does not have a contract extension and is trying to hire a new manager with just 1 year to go on his contract, and there's been no talks at all. And I ask that question, why? Let's be honest here. Preller's responsible for everything that's happened at Petco Park on the field. His wheeling, his dealing, his signings, his trades, whether you like or dislike all the acquisitions or you're aghast at the trading in the farm system, the product's been pretty damn good for the last 5 years. That's Preller's responsibility. He's done a pretty good job there. Grupner's done a phenomenal job marketing and packaging and the giveaways and Gallagher Square and all that. But these two sides right now are like this, and they have to work together because you can't have non-baseball people like Grupner and the Seidler brothers making baseball decisions. So they've got to solve this situation where it is right now. I would hope they'll come to some common ground, roll up the barbed wire that exists, and don't make changes and just move on together. Because right now, Padre baseball is really special in our community. But it kind of feels, it really does, John, like a civil war that exists there right now. So at the end of the day, do you think this is a real problem? Or do you think this is an imagined problem that the media has a perception of what's gone on, what's not gone on? And we're sitting here with no manager, coaching staff in limbo, a lot of ill will right now. And you got this issue between one side versus the other side in the hallways at Petco Park. What do you think?
The rolling the barbed wire down the hallway? Come on, man. I mean, obviously they have issues they've got to resolve, right? We've heard these whispers about Grupner and Preller not always seeing eye to eye. Those guys are going to work it out. I mean, they each exist to benefit the other.
I think so.
You know, so they that's a relationship that just works, even though there might be a little friction. And frankly, sometimes a little friction isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's like, you know, the Abraham Lincoln and what do they call it? A council of enemies or something, you know, where you get a lot of input and it's a little messy at times, but that's okay. I forgot all about Sheil Seidler, bless her heart. I mean, she's now in this civil war. I mean, is that ever going to get resolved, or is Sheil Seidler, did she lose that and it's over with?
Well, she is still part owner, but she's in the background. Seidler brothers are running it with Grupner, but Preller is linked emotionally to Sheil because he was so close to Peter Seidler. So that's why we got barbed wire down the middle of the hallway, because we've got one group that feels it should be run certain way and decisions are theirs. You got the baseball group with Sheil Seidler and the late Peter Seidler's backing, think it should be run a different way.
I could see Hacksaw in the cubicles, like launching grenades to the other side of the office. I mean, come on, man. It's not like that. It's not like that.
How do you know that it's not like that?
I mean, it seems like it's, okay, there's probably some issues, but the media turns it into a big, you know, orchestration, you know, something with choreography and everything else to make some sort of sensational spin on it.
Thank you from the media for digging up what the real story was with Schilt. All those coaches were going to leave. And they asked Schilt to change his way of doing business, and he could not. So Schilt left. So we have that uncertainty at a really important position. So media is just doing its job.
Someone's asking Niebla to leave?
No, Niebla and all those other coaches were tired of what Schilt was doing. The Padres asked Schilt to change his methodology, and he couldn't.
Isn't it interesting how the public vision of Schilt is very different than what is occurring behind the scenes?
We did not know, but now, since this has happened a week ago today, now we find out from St. Louis people and players that was the same atmosphere when he won all those games with the Cardinals and suddenly got tossed.
Okay, here's a wild theory that I was thinking about a few days ago. Do you think that he has, I'm talking about Mike Schilt, potentially an inferiority complex because he never played pro ball? He certainly, I mean, I'm not just talking major leagues. He didn't play minor league ball. And so do you think that maybe he feels like he's over his skis, like, you know, he's kind of in uncharted waters, and he feels like if anyone challenged him, they're challenging him personally because they think he isn't as legit of a baseball person, not as deserving of a manager, because all he did was play college ball and never amounted to much as a player.
His resume says success. Also, you look at a picture of him, it's like he's his hand over his heart like Napoleon complex.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. It's just, I sense that there is not strength of self-esteem to the degree that I think is necessary to do that job. You have to have a thick skin.
I think there's strength of ego, and that's a problem. I've done all this. I'm successful. Don't dare ask me nor inquire. One of the St. Louis people dropped the story that these are all Schultz people that he hired in St. Louis, and then he treats them really badly after he brings them in. Now, why would you do that? If these are people you liked, good enough to work for you, work under you, why would you create such a negative vibe? And the exact same thing was happening with the coaching staff here.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that if he doesn't feel secure in himself as though he's deserving of the opportunity, he's going to try to make all of his other guys look worse than him, so he can feel better about himself. I know I'm kind of psychoanalyzing this thing, but I can see that as a potential scenario. But usually when people are just uncooperative, it's usually because they've got challenges, mental issues of their own.
It's tough. Their Padres are in a tough situation. The feel-good run of 90 and 93 wins the last 2 years and all the sellouts at Petco Park now has been pushed to the background because these are serious internal structural problems. Padres manager, Padres coaching staff, now Padres front office. Okay. You're a Padre fan. How worried are you about where this situation exists right now? Civil war. You think that's what's going on in the front office? Feel free to join us. Fans Forum. Chat box is open. We go from that. Let's talk about the team that's still playing baseball, waiting for the World Series to start. How about those Dodgers?
The Dodgers. Here we go. And hey, Shohei Ohtani had a hell of a game 4.
Oh, Showtime-Shohei. Hollywood script. Could you imagine I sat there and watched it. I don't come out of my chair very often watching sporting events, but when he hit the 3rd home run that night, I stood up and said, wow. Ohtani, period, exclamation point to greatness. It's been over 100 years since Babe Ruth did what Babe Ruth did, pitcher, hitter, home runs, no hitters, etc. I mean, think about what Ohtani did on Friday night. He strikes out the side in top of the 1st inning, comes back, leadoff hitter, bottom of the 1st, goes yard, home run. Comes back, hits the 469-foot shot over the top of the pavilion, comes back, hits a 3rd home run in that Dodger victory, and by the way, goes 100 pitches, strikes out 10 in a dominant performance in 6 innings. Well, we're never, ever going to see this again. Somebody say once in a generation. This is once in a lifetime. Baseball fans appreciate the accomplishment of what Showtime is, because I don't think we'll ever, in mankind, ever see this again. Dodgers starting pitching, 0.64 ERA versus Milwaukee. Brewers, they won 97 games. They hit 101 in the 4 games against the Dodger pitchers. Had 4 runs in 36 innings. The Dodger starters went 28 innings, gave up 2 runs, struck out 35 Milwaukee batters. The Dodger starters in all of the postseason, starting with the wild card round with Cincinnati to where we are right now, 1.40 ERA, gold standard, baby. And I think the other stunning thing is just not the starters. There's heroes every night that are different. It's Freeman. It's Mookie. It's obviously Showtime. It's Kiki. It's Roki. It's the defense turning all these critical double plays. Now, I'm going to say this, and it's going to incite everybody in the 619-858-760 area code, a.k.a. San Diego. Andrew Friedman, who's not talked to the media very much, talked to the media over the weekend and was asked just about this struggle of a season. Well, they had the great start, had the 9.5 game lead, blew it. At one point, that lead was down to a half game. caught fire, and now are playing the best baseball we've seen. His quotes: "We knew our good arms on this pitching staff would emerge." His quote: "Our blueprint, we had a plan that we would hit peak health in September and October." Another quote: "We know how to win." And the last quote: "Who cares about winning the baseball trading deadline? The Dodgers win in October." End quote.
That's a shot.
Are you listening?
Yeah.
So we're going to the World Series. Dodgers will be fully rested, a whole week, fully rested, and they'll get the survivor of tonight's Game 7, Mariners-Blue Jays home run derby, which has been an electric series, both those teams running out of starting pitching. Okay, Hollywood script, Showtime, Andrew Friedman's press conference, respond.
Dodgers, Dodgers, Dodgers. They're the friggin' Marsha Brady of Major League Baseball. The only thing that was missing in that game was on home run number 2, they should have showed Shohei Ohtani's wife, like along the third baseline with the light shining down on her with a beautiful sundress and a hat. And then for the third home run, it should have hit the lights and exploded in fireworks as Robert Redford is running around second base. I mean, come on. This is just insane.
Hollywood.
It is. I mean, you knew this was going to happen, when Snell was getting better and Glasnow and, Ohtani was eventually going to pitch, and it's just Dodgers, 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 and they sweep, and the other series is they're struggling and down in the gutter, they're throwing punches, but the Dodgers just sweep in, they're back in the World Series where they belong, and all is right in the world for Dodger fans.
And Andrew Friedman's last quote: "Who cares about winning the baseball trading deadline? The Dodgers win in October."
Yeah. Well, they didn't. Well, yeah, the one guy they got, he ended up getting hurt, that relief pitcher. But yeah, I mean, that's a shot, and but I appreciate the shot. It's part of the rivalry, and that's what makes us fun.
Okay, you're a Dodger fan. Let us hear from you. We're in Dodger Blue, Pantone 286. Feel free to jump on board. Fans Forum chat box is open. We're not done. We got to cover the other team in town, and I told you this would be hard to listen to follow, and to hear. We're talking Angel baseball.
So, are we getting players up on the to have to testify?
More executives were in there today. We believe Mike Trout's going to testify tomorrow.
Wow,
he will be the first one.
Here we go. Today
is day 3 of the tragic death, drug-related lawsuit involving the late pitcher Tyler Skaggs. They spent 2 days with the executive vice president of communications, Tim Mead, a former president of the Baseball Hall of Fame also, talking about Eric Kay, the PR director, the relationship, the erratic behavior, the troubled medication problems, Kay becoming a drug dealer, dealing drugs to Skaggs and at least 5 other players in the Angel clubhouse. Tim Mead kind of stood tall on the stand and said, "I was aware of issues and I tried to help my employee the best way I could." Mead confirmed that he mediated some front office problems that Eric Kay was involved in. He indicated that he took part in an intervention that Eric Kay's family had to try to get him in to a rehab center. He said Mead took it upon himself as a vice president to search Kay's office 3 times, never ever found any drugs, had no knowledge at all that Eric Kay was dealing anything to any players whatsoever. But because of erratic behavior cycles he saw with Eric Kay, and when he confronted Eric Kay, Tim Mead said Kay's explanation was his medication drugs for bipolar and ADHD were out of sync, and that's why he was struggling. Mead eventually, because of some of the erratic moments with Eric Kay, directed Eric Kay into psychiatric counseling with the doctors, mental health doctors. They then put him into drug rehab on 3 different times. Mead eventually left the Angels after 40 years to go to work as the president of the Baseball Hall of Fame. That's when Tyler Skaggs died. Tim Mead got a phone call from an assistant saying there was information that Skaggs died in his hotel room, snorting drugs, And Eric Kay was in that room with him the night he died. At that point, Tim Meade, who was working in Cooperstown at that point, told the PR executive, you go to Arte Moreno, you call Major League Baseball, security, and the union. All that happened. And then the rest of that is history. So Tim Meade answered 2 days worth of really hostile questions that he was not an enabler of Eric Kay. He was an advocate to try to help a long-term employee who had 3 kids get healthy. And eventually they guided him to psychiatric help. I mean, it's a really sad story. They were bringing up their president, John Carpino, this afternoon. Tom Taylor, another executive, is there. Human resources person supposed to testify too. Tomorrow, we believe, Mike Trout will be the first of Angel players who's going to be on the stand. I told you this would be dark. I told you this would be sad. I told you this would be dirty, and it really is. And again, it spins back. Who's responsible for Tyler Skaggs' death? The player because of his addictions, overdosing, or the Angels, who had an employee who was an addict who wound up dealing pills to the player? John, respond.
This is just really heavy. Okay, now you said the family was suing them for, it was almost $1 billion.
$789 million.
789. Okay, so just hypothetically, let's assume that that's how it goes down, that the Angels are on the hook for $789 million. How would they handle that? I mean, does that come at, they don't come anywhere near making that in profit in a year. And so the franchise would have to eat it, or is that coming out of Arte Moreno's personal pocket?
It's probably a combination of that plus insurance policies.
Ah, the insurance. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, yeah. I mean, how do you put a price on a life? You know, how do you, that seems like a number they just sort of picked out of the air, 789.
The price to me seems really absurd.
Yeah.
But again, representing the family, Rusty Hardin, very controversial lawyer out of Texas that wins all these big money cases. It's
yeah.
We're going to have to wait and see. It'd be amazing to be a juror and to hear all this testimony because there's more, obviously. There's a lot more that's going to come.
You think that we could find some new bombshells that'll make this whole thing more of a circus?
It's pretty nasty. It's really dark. It's really deep.
Where is the trial being held?
Santa Ana, which is the courthouse headquarters.
Okay,
you're an Angel fan. If you have a response to what we've just tried to present, again, they say this trial is going to last probably 6 to 8 weeks because there will be so many different people that are going to testify. But that's the onset from what the Vice President, Tim Meade, had to say, and he was the one that was actively involved with Eric Kay. We go from that. Are other baseball stories to talk about? Let's jump back in and talk about what's happening on the diamond, what's happening off the diamond in the offseason.
Yeah, the Major League Notebook, a lot of headlines involving NL West teams.
Let's talk about the Padres. The Padres situation, beginning interviews with managers. Albert Pujols is no longer a candidate for the Angels job. Wow. Name has been withdrawn. He had a personal services contract with Arte Moreno. I don't know if this is a financial issue as to why they decided not to go forward, or whether it's just a lack of experience issue that they want somebody with more hands-on expertise having been a manager. Pujols is interviewing with the Padres. But again, knowing A.J. Preller, he will interview everybody. Also to be interviewed, Ryan Flaherty, Chicago Cubs. He used to be here. Nick Hundley, who took himself out of the Giants job. He is going to interview here. I'm led to believe Mark Loretta, college-educated guy who's got a lot of baseball administrative background and played for a lot of different managers. He's going to interview. I keep hearing Phil Nevin's name. His track record of success is kind of spotty in terms of being a manager. But again, he's a Padre with a lot of experience at dealing with the modern-day players. So those are hot names there. The Dodgers situation, they're already starting to churn what they're going to do in the offseason. And evidently, they've indicated to Michael Conforto he's not coming back to left fielder that they paid a volume of money to. And they're going to take some of that money, and we're led to believe they're going to go after Kyle Tucker, who's already opted out in Chicago, has told the Cubs at least he will test free agency. The Cubs do want to bring him back. So Kyle Tucker, who's had some injury problems the last 2 years, ex-Astro, ex-Cub, seems to be the front runner to maybe be the Dodgers' new left fielder. Giants have offered their managerial job to a college coach, Tony Vitello. This is interesting. University of Tennessee. Guy's a modern-day smart dude. His career record's like 341 and 141 at the University of Tennessee. Developed a tremendous reputation for developing pitchers. Anyhow, he's been offered the job that they are negotiating as we speak with Buster Posey. Tony Vitello is going to be the manager of the Giants, we're led to believe. Interesting story in Philadelphia. End of season press conference. I'm not sure why he would say this. Dave Dombrowski went public after the demise of the Phillies in the postseason because of injuries, saying, I don't know whether Bryce Harper can ever be an elite player again. Now, Harper's 34. Harper's got a lot of miles on the body. He's starting to have injuries pile up, forearm, elbow, shoulder, etc. Also, they're facing a major roster overhaul. Kyle Schwarber is a walk-free agent after hitting 50-plus home runs this season. Castellanos is evidently not going to have his option picked up. He's gone. Real Muto, power-hitting catcher. He's a walk-free agent. Ranger Suarez, one of the top young pitchers. He's a walk-free agent. So a lot of things are churning, but I don't know why Dombrowski would raise that question or make that statement. I don't know whether Bryce Harper can ever be elite again. Why would you say that? Last team is Colorado. Rockies are about to make a move to get a president of baseball operations to be the general manager. The hottest name is James Click. James Click is responsible for having rebuilt the Toronto Blue Jays. He's the assistant to the president. He was the assistant to the general manager of the Houston Astros when they built that farm system. He's a hot candidate. Also a hot candidate is Matt Foreman, assistant general manager, Cleveland Guardians. Cleveland has been a homegrown product for the last group of years. Foreman has kind of headed that minor league baseball operation. So those are the two guys. Colorado could name a general manager before the World Series starts at the end of the week. John, those are baseball headlines. Go ahead.
You know, you mentioned Phil Nevin, and that's actually the Billy Martin type I was talking about, man. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's not going to be like, you know, crazy comical man like Billy Martin used to be at times, but he would be the tough guy, and he would go in and he'd get in the face of players that need to be gotten in the face of. And the same thing about going out on the field and fighting and defending his team in a different way than Mike Schilt. You know, Mike Schilt goes out there and just sort of throws his glasses to the side. I mean, Nevin would be like spitting in that umpire's face.
But Mike Schilt was never in the face of anybody in his clubhouse.
But that's what I think the Padres need. They need their guys. Like again, you know, Manny and Tatis are the ones that get all the heat. And their situations are different. Tatis needs an intervention, okay? But there's other dudes, you know, like, you know, Cronenworth will kind of go radio silent on you for like 4 or 5 weeks at times. And yeah, so I just think Nevin is an interesting choice for that.
Okay. I'm not sure who to believe is the hot candidate. Although the track record of Ryan Flaherty, he's come so close to getting jobs prior, might make him the guy. I'm intrigued by Loretta. We're talking smart dude who's worked at a number of different levels. And I'm intrigued by Nick Hundley. I mean, this guy has moved around since his playing days were over to experience things and put them on his resume. But he's never been a manager before. He's only been a coach. So intriguing to see what direction Preller goes. And then again, we're going to get to the barbed wire in the middle of the front office. Is this hire going to come from the Seidlers and Grupner, or will they let the baseball ops guy hire the baseball manager?
Well, A.J. Preller clearly has the most experience hiring head coaches or managers. I mean, how many people has he interviewed over his 11 years? A lot.
He talks to everybody all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm just looking at this other list. Yeah. What's his name again? Kyle Tucker. Yeah. Will he go to the Dodgers? Well, of course he's going to go to the Dodgers. It's just part of the Hollywood script. I like the Giants interviewing a college coach. I think it's interesting.
Yep.
Because you think the college coaches would be kind of more apt to do kind of technical things in different ways, more apt to, like, you know, do a lot more hit and runs, or maybe even like, you know, hidden ball trick stuff, you know. The Phillies, JT Realmuto would actually be a really good fit for the Padres, a catcher. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember when he was a free agent before the Phillies signed him, Preller was sort of flirting with the idea of Real Muto, but the Phillies just gave him a wad of cash.
Well, Philadelphia's, they got a big payroll, and it didn't work, and now they got age and injuries. You're stunned that Dombrowski would talk about Bryce Harper that way. Harper's just a warrior.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Harper is awesome, and it is interesting. Like, he's always would compare with Machado because they've been linked like since they were little kids. But Machado hasn't had those kind of serious injuries that Harper has had. So I can see that, but that might be like a calculated like little poke to try to get under Harper's skin to kind of motivate him. Maybe. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's unfair, though. Guy got a fractured arm. Guy blew out his elbow playing for you. Guy runs into walls.
He's injury prone. Then isn't that what you guys usually say in the media?
He's a 261 hitter this year, but he's got a lot of miles on him. So, but they're tied up to the contract for such a period of time. So why would you even drop that hint and try to insult him, considering you own him?
Yeah. I mean, it was unnecessary. But, yeah, I mean, Philly, that whole organization sounds like it's getting flipped on its head. I mean, if you're going to lose Castellanos, I mean, and if, Harper's a shell of himself and Real Muto goes out the door, I mean, I think you're going to see other teams in the NL East are going to rise to the top.
Okay, that's all things baseball. Pull a page out of the notebook. You want to comment on some of that. We go from that, all things National Football League. Man, there's a lot to talk about.
Okay, the Chargers were dolts. Against the Colts.
The Bolts got beat by the Colts, and they played like dolts. Sunday shootout. The guys on network TV mocked the Chargers at the beginning of the broadcast about the Savannah banana uniforms. Those things were ugly, and the Chargers proceeded to play ugly. They got mocked on TV, and then they got mugged on the field by Indianapolis. Colts pounded the rock. They threw it down the field. At one point, I couldn't hear the announcers give me the score because the fans were booing so loud at SoFi. It was 23-3 at one point.
It was ugly, yeah.
And there were a lot of Indy fans there. Indy is now 6-1. And tell you, they ran the ball, they threw the ball, they chased the quarterback all over the place. The one area that Indianapolis was deficient, they have very much an undersized secondary. And the Chargers just could not protect Justin Herbert so they could try to capitalize on the size. Now, Herbert had a really good second half, but that was throw the ball on every down, and there was such a big hole, down 14, down 21. Indy was never in jeopardy of letting that game get away. Herbert finishes with a lifetime high 421 yards, 3 touchdowns. Listen to these numbers. 2 picks, 3 sacks, 15 hits.
Yeah.
11 pressures. And they wasted, Keenan Allen and Oronde Gadsden, the rookie tight end, combined to catch 18 balls, but they wasted that production. This is a bad combo. You can't protect your quarterback. You can't run the bleep in football, and you can't stop the run. And on top of all that, those guys wearing Savannah banana colors, short work week, and now they got to play the Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, on Thursday Night Football, all beat up. Chargers have lost 3 of their last 4. They should have lost in Miami the prior Sunday. And Jim Harbaugh, a week ago, had a glazed look in the postgame press conference. This one, he could hardly link a noun and a verb. He even failed at coach speak to describe what the hell happened to his football team. And the Bolts got beat by the Colts. And you like the Savannah banner colors. What's wrong with you?
That game was awful. The offensive line was like a sieve. They couldn't stop the Colts defensive line from rushing them. And yeah, Herbert was running for his life. I don't have a problem. I like it when teams experiment with uniforms. I do. And I just think the whole alternate jersey thing is kind of fun for fans, and it's all good, and yeah, look, a lot of these other teams have monocolor uniforms, all red or all black or whatever. So, they're yellow. But they do look like the Savannah Bananas. I was just really impressed with Daniel Jones. That guy is a hell of a quarterback. And it's amazing how much crap he got. We thought his career was over after he left the Giants, like he was a dud.
He got battered. No team around him. Now they got a team around him to run the ball. Yes. You have receivers and tight ends to catch the ball. Yes.
Yeah.
Do they protect him? Hell yes.
Yeah.
He's made plays.
But that was like the announcers were saying, it's like they just did everything right. You know, there were like no weaknesses. And it was kind of cool to see a Colts quarterback with Jones on the back of the jersey. And it was 17 instead of 7, right?
Yep.
Old Bird.
So Chargers get beat, and now they get Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota, which could be a really wild game on Thursday. So we go from that. You got a comment on the Bolts? You a Savannah Banana uniform fan? Feel free. Jump on board. We go from that. Let's talk about what happened around the league, checking that out-of-town scoreboard.
Out-of-town score where we go, geez, you gave me like a million logos to get up on this graphic.
All right, let's just try to move through this. Rams go to London. It rains like hell, and the Rams rained offense and defense on the Jaguars. Matthew Stafford throws for 5 touchdowns. Devontae Adams caught 3 touchdowns. He did not have Puka Nacua. And the defense had 7 sacks of Trevor Lawrence. You talk about a big money NFL quarterback that's kind of regressing. That's Trevor Lawrence right now. So the Rams are sitting there at 5-2. And if they didn't have screw-ups in their kicking game, they'd be 7-0. The Rams are really good. And they sacked the Jaguars quarterback 7 times. Eagles, Minnesota. Jalen Hurts, 326 and 3 touchdowns. Best game of the season. Went no huddle. Went fast tempo. Really caused problems for Minnesota. Devontae Smith, 9 catches for 183 yards. A.J. Brown had 121 yards. Those 2 guys, it's the best game of the season those receivers have had. Minnesota's Carson Wentz would drive a coach crazy. He throws for 313. He takes sacks. He throws picks. He drops the ball. And their 2 wide receivers, Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson, they had 14 catches for 307 yards. But Minnesota's defense just could not handle all things the Eagles had. So that's the best game Philadelphia's played all season. We'll see if they can duplicate that. And we'll see what the mental state is of Minnesota now, getting beat by Philly, having to come here to play the Bolts. Dallas whips Washington. Dak Prescott is having a career year. He throws 3 more touchdown passes. CeeDee Lamb comes back, 74-yard touchdown catch. Deron Bland, the cornerback, 68-yard pick 6. Dallas just sledgehammers their NFC East rival. Kansas City and the Raiders, 31-0. New definition of the word black hole. Kansas City had 434 yards in offense. The Raiders had 96. Kansas City had 31 first downs. The Raiders had 3. They benched Geno Smith. And suddenly, Kansas City is hitting on all cylinders because they're getting healthy. And they got Mahomes with Kelsey. Rashee Rice caught 7 balls in his first game back off the suspension list. Xavier Worthy, Hollywood Brown. Wow. And they've gone spread offense. And now people can't defend him because he's got all of his weapons there. Kansas City's last 2 weeks, pretty impressive. This might be as gruesome a loss as anybody could ever have. Here's the New York Giants. I thought there was something wrong with my eyesight. There is. It was 19-0 in the fourth quarter of the Giants. 19-0. I said, how is this possible in Denver that the Giants with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo would be up 19-0? Next thing I looked, it was 33-19. Denver scored 33 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Broncos. That might be the all-time worst fourth quarter collapse there is. They had 4 touchdowns and a field goal in their 5 possessions in the final stanza. They had, get this, John, they had scoring drives in Denver in the fourth quarter. Scoring drives that took 37 seconds, 51 seconds, 56 seconds.
Wow.
Just down the field, down the field. Dart threw for 283 and 3 touchdowns, but they lost because he can't play defense. Denver, in the fourth quarter, Denver had 295 yards in offense just in the fourth quarter. I've never seen anything like that. So Denver beats the Giants. Catastrophic loss for the Giants. 49ers over Atlanta. Now that's vintage Christian McCaffrey. That was 201 yards worth of CMC in the Sunday night game. Mac Jones continues to play mistake-free football. I'm so impressed with Michael Penix. He just stands in there and he just makes plays. He threw for 280 although they kept them out of the end zone. San Francisco beats Atlanta. So I don't know what the hell games you were watching aside from the Savannah Banana loss, but man, there were some wild games yesterday.
There were. I mean, Carson Wentz, man. I mean, there were moments in that game where it was like I was cringing because the passes were so horrible. You know, they were so off target. He'd throw like an out, near the sidelines, but he'd throw it backwards.
Knuckleball.
And it would knuckle or something crazy. And there was even some moments they caught him on camera where he was like almost like in a big period of self-doubt. He didn't really understand what was going wrong. And that was crazy. The Kansas City Chiefs they're like the Dodgers, right? They got everything goes their way. They got all the celebrities. They even got a guy on the team. His name's Hollywood, So, the Chiefs are coming back from the injuries. I love the Giants. I mean, with Dart and Scatterby were just a great story, but this is on their defense, right? I mean, that's what really imploded.
Yeah, how do you shut out somebody for 3 quarters in their yard? Denver's a tough place to play, and then give up all those yards in the fourth stanza. 295 yards and 5 scoring drives in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that's like that Bills playoff game against the Oilers back in the early 90s. And then, by the way, the Niner fans, they know that this is all a mirage, that this team is playing way better than they really deserve to be. They're kind of mediocre, but like you said, McCaffrey was outstanding last night. It makes you wonder, Kittle came back. I don't know, maybe they're going to get a lot of guys back, but damn, that Mac Jones, I mean, he's just
mistake-free.
Yeah, I mean, he's just really impressive, just like Daniel Jones. Those two guys are like the same.
Managing the games. Okay, you got a response to some of the games we saw Sunday in the NFL? Feel free. Jump on board. Fans Forum chat box is open. Last segment before we get to halftime. I'm just going to run through quickly a couple other stories. We call it the NFL Notebook.
Yeah, off-the-field news starting in Tennessee.
Mike McCoy is the interim head coach of the Tennessee Titans, ex-Charger head coach. Real bright light offensive coordinator. I mean, he's done some really good things on his resume working with quarterbacks, young quarterbacks like Tim Tebow, superstar quarterbacks like Peyton Manning. Anyhow, he's got the challenge now with Cam Ward, who is making a lot of mistakes. Tennessee's a bad football team. Ward had his best game throwing the football, but he continues to turn it over. He continues to take a lot of sacks. Here's the other part of the storyline in Tennessee. They just fired that coach, Brian Callahan. They named Mike McCoy interim. I don't think McCoy is going to be the long-term solution there, even though he does have a good track record of working with quarterbacks. I've been told that they've been in contact already with Mike McCarthy, former Dallas Cowboy, Green Bay Packer coach. Obviously, very good offensive resume. You got the first-round draft pick there, so maybe Mike McCarthy becomes the guy, gets hired right at the end of the season in December. Kansas City, there is no explanation as to what's happened there. People I talk to are of the opinion Josh Simmons, the former San Diego State Aztec, who left the team 2 weeks ago and has not come back, that there's a big family issue there. Now, one segment told me it has to do with a family member in hospice, and the young man is not coping with this adversity very well. The other is the young man is not coping with getting benched in Kansas City because his play started to dip a little bit. The Chiefs are not talking at all about why this kid has disappeared the morning of the game 2 weeks ago. The players are not talking, etc. So it's too bad because obviously Andy Reid is a great coach and they have infrastructure to help a young man go through whatever it is, whether it's a family issue, a health sickness issue with a parent or somebody, or if it's him and a confidence and a depression issue. The resources are there. So I would hope that Josh Simmons will go back to Kansas City and get under the umbrella of chief football to help him because he's a pro football player and he won that starting job, but he's gone through some adversity. Bengals, trade deadline's coming up in about 10 days. Are they going to trade Trey Hendrickson? That's the rumor that's out there. Now, they want a number 1 pick for a 31-year-old defensive end. I don't think that's going to work, but I could see somebody giving a second or giving a third. And the report is the 49ers, Dallas, the Eagles are all in on Trey Hendrickson of Cincinnati. And in Pittsburgh, last Thursday night, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The person I'm married to could not believe what she was seeing. Steeler fan.
Oh, yeah.
My wife. She's
West Virginia.
What comes out of her mouth when the Steelers are playing bad is just... Cincinnati had 420 yards against Pittsburgh's defense. Aaron Rodgers just, granted he threw a couple touchdown passes, actually had 4 touchdown passes, 2 picks, but their offense looks so pedestrian. Mike Tomlin's press conference, this is not who we are. Well, right now you have a very pedestrian offense, and I don't understand where the hell your defense was. The Bengals just killed you. I mean, that wide receiver had 16 receptions, Jamar Chase, 16 receptions for 245 yards. Big story is that Pittsburgh is attempting to go get another speed receiver because they're throwing a lot to their tight ends and they are running the football, but they don't have any deep threat stuff. They reportedly are trying to make a deal to get Jacoby Myers, the speed guy from the Raiders who wants out and is a walk free agent. That trade might happen, which would then give Aaron Rodgers a burner deep down the field. I'm kind of disappointed in DK Metcalf because I thought when he got there, he'd be a difference maker, but he looks like a plotter. He looks more tight end than he looks big play wide receiver. So something's not right on the offensive side of the football with Pittsburgh. So a couple of notes there from the NFL notebook. This Josh Simmons thing that I'm really concerned about the kid. The kid needs guidance.
Yeah, I didn't know a lot of that background of that story. So that's tough. I mean, that guy is going to be a great NFL player for his career and hopefully just kind of gets through this. It's tough. He's still a very young man, so probably very emotional for him. But, it was funny. I saw one of the tweets online. I can't remember if it was from Bernie Wilson or Jay Posner, getting all the media guys right together. Like, we got to get Hacksaw. We got to go out there and go get into the press conference with Mike McCoy, just like the old days.
I used to ask him all. He was great to me. I got along with him. When they hired Mike McCoy, I thought great hire because he was the hottest coordinator at that point. And I thought he's coming in here and he's going to work with Rivers. And I thought this was going to be successful. And it was not because he just could not consume all the responsibilities that a head coach has to deal with. It was more than just X's and O's and meeting with a quarterback. It's everything. And it just progressively got worse and worse. I think he went 27-37 over his 4 years. I got along well with him, but to me, he was overmatched. And I've seen that so many times in the NFL. So that's where we are with Mike McCoy.
Okay. And then Trey Hendrickson, I mean, the Bengals aren't going anywhere. I mean, they should trade him.
Yeah, but not for number one. You're not trading number one for a 31-year-old.
Well, I mean, get what you can. I mean, come on. I mean, and besides, Mike Brown doesn't want to pay anybody, so he probably want to get that contract out of town.
Okay, that's where we are. You got a comment on the NFL Notebook, feel free to join us. Fans Forum chat box is open. We are at halftime. This podcast is brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. You got projects, they got materials. You want ideas, they can be your best friend. John, DIXIELINE Lumber is more than just a lumber company. I mean, they specialize in tools. Their workshop layout is absolutely phenomenal. But the thing nobody pays attention to is their design store, if you will, over in the Solana Beach area. Let's just talk about kitchens. Let's just talk about what DIXIELINE does as it relates to bathrooms. And let's talk about the design store that people can actually go to and see the layouts.
Well, you're talking about the design center, okay? Yes. And it's right there, Loma Santa Fe, Highway 5, Solana Beach. And in that shopping center, DIXIELINE has one of their regular home centers, with all the plumbing and electrical and the power tools. And they've got the drive-through lumber yard where you get building materials. But then in the building, like just adjacent, it's kind of like kitty corner within the shopping center is the DIXIELINE Design Studio. And that's where you've got like interior decorator quality talent in there that can help you just really build like an optimal kitchen, bathroom. And they're going to have a lot of the high end kind of European faucetry and some of the really cool stuff. So that's at the Design Studio, Solana Beach. But every one of the stores, I think most every one of them have like door and window showrooms and kitchen and bath showrooms and some great talent in a lot of those other retail locations that can walk you through a project because you might not know where to start, and the DIXIELINE is a great place to start because they'll show you cabinetry, they'll show you countertops, they'll kind of help you map it out, they'll help you kind of build a budget, and that way you can have the confidence that whichever contractor you pick, you got a good supplier of building materials for what you're doing at home.
Just go to DIXIELINE.com, find out all the things they have to offer. A reminder, when we're done with topics on the table, because we do sports talk the way it should be done, when we're done, then you take over. It's called Fans Forum. John, how does it work for all the new people who've never participated?
I mean, holy crap. There's like, I don't know, like almost 100 messages here. I mean, from all of our longtime guys, there's some new folks in there as well. And I normally like to run through the list because I think people like hearing their name, but this list is so long. I wouldn't get through it all. So, but I'll just tell you what, there's lots of comments about Padres, about, who's going to be their manager. There's a lot of Dodger Peacock fans that are still prancing around and kicking dirt on the Padres. And people are talking about the Chargers and the Rams and, we haven't even gotten into college sports and some of these other topics. I mean, there's a lot going on, and Fans Forum is your chance to get involved and ask a question, make a comment, have a hot take for Hacksaw.
Yeah, go to the chat box, just type it in. Don't write a book. Don't write 7 different versions. Just give us brief comments. Fans Forum coming up right at the end. Okay, John, let's move on quickly because we want to get to Fans Forum. We've been running long today. College football. Let's talk about what happened, because what happened was wild.
What happened was a wild weekend, lots of upsets.
Upset City. I have a Heisman vote. Has a freshman ever won the Heisman Trophy?
Yeah,
Tony Dorsett, maybe, at the University of Pittsburgh. That's the only name that comes to modern-day mind. Anyhow, Ohio State is just storming through the Big Ten. Carlsbad's freshman quarterback Jalen Salin throws for 393 and 4 touchdowns as they destroy Wisconsin. He has played really good football.
Isn't it Julian Salin?
I'm sorry, I said Jalen.
Yeah.
Julian Salin. So anyhow, Buckeyes quarterback. They ought to be talking about him as it relates to the Heisman. Miami. This was hard to believe. Hurricanes got beat. Carson Beck, the big transfer quarterback, who a lot of people thought, hot candidate Heisman, he throws 4 picks in the game this past weekend as Miami winds up losing. Ole Miss lost. That was a stunner. Georgia's defense really tightened the screws on Ole Miss's young sophomore quarterback, Chambliss, and their young running back. Ole Miss's offense just kind of went off the road. Texas Tech lost. Now, they got ambushed in Tempe at Sun Devil Stadium. Arizona State whacked them. Sammy Levitt, the Sun Devil quarterback, threw for 319 in that win. Oregon. Now, they got beat at home a week ago by Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
They went on the road at Rutgers. Oregon, 750 yards in offense.
That's all?
Against the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Yeah.
USC in the rain against Notre Dame lost. Jaden Mayava, 2 picks, fumble. Bigger story, I thought, really terrible play calls by that head coach, Lincoln Riley. I mean, he took the ball off the line of scrimmage in a rainstorm and tried to run a halfback wide receiver throwback option in the rain, and they got stoned on 4th down calls. I mean, it was a shocker. Notre Dame's really physical, but USC self-destructed bad play calls. UCLA, last-second field goal. They've won 3 in a row.
Hell yeah.
Under Tim Skipper. They beat Maryland, field goal. Showdown Mountain West Conference. Wow. Boise State, 558 yards. They tore into UNLV. Dylan Riley, running back, 201 yards. We're going to see Boise here in a couple weeks when they play San Diego State. What a big bleeping game that is. Coaching front, Florida fires Billy Napier yesterday, 23-24. Then last night, Colorado State fired their coach, Jay Norvell. That program has really tipped. Their 9 head coaches have now been blown out in 7 weeks. And I'd be remiss if I didn't give you the update on the out-of-town scoreboard about North Carolina. Bill and the Babe. Belichick's Tar Heels fumble the football 3 times on the road at Cal and lose to the Golden Bears, the same Golden Bears team that got shut out by San Diego State. Absolutely amazing. And because we cover everything, I gotta touch bases on small college football because I'd mentioned this to you before. This is, I mean, it's hilarious. Opening day of the season, Division III football. I made a comment about a small college quarterback in upstate New York, a kid at Utica College, in his first game, threw for 526 and 5 TDs.
Wow. Yeah, I think I remember that.
2 weeks ago, I made a comment about the quarterback at Western Carolina. He completed 46 passes in a row. He went 53 for 56 in Western Carolina's win over Wofford. Saturday, this past Saturday in Division III football, all-time record. All the great running backs from Red Grange through Tony Dorsett to Archie Griffin, all-time rushing record in Division III. He broke the record for every division in college football. Curry College is in Massachusetts, a Division III school. They got a tailback by the name of Monty Quinn. He ran for 522 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Holy crap.
In Saturday's win, Curry College's win over Nichols College. So, a lot of stuff to talk about college football. Wow.
Remember that one year that Marshall Falk went off and didn't he have like 386
yards?
Yeah, that was the number. 386.
Was it Pacific or Long Beach State?
It was Pacific. It was Pacific.
I broadcast that game. It was amazing.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it was Long Beach if you broadcasted it. Yeah. But 500 and something.
This kid had 522 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, that's incredible. I'll tell you what, man. Indiana fan is like, they're giddy right now.
Number 2 in the country.
Number 2. I mean, this is incredible.
Right behind Ohio State.
Signetti got an extension too, didn't he?
Yes.
What's going on there? What is it? Is it Bloomington? Is that where that campus is? What's going on there in Bloomington is unbelievable.
Who could have ever thought in our world of college football, people, that we would have Indiana ranked number 2?
Yeah.
Georgia Tech ranked number 7. Vanderbilt ranked number 10.
Vanderbilt.
Commodores.
That's insane.
College football is upside down. Okay, you're a college football fan. Feel free, jump on board. By the way, San Diego State. What a show today. Sean Lewis he's coming off the bye week. Man, he got his batteries recharged. Holy cow. The coach speak was just overflowing in the room. They're getting ready to go play Fresno State.
That's a confident coach right now.
Yeah. 5-1, but they're going into Fresno. Fresno plays with his hair on fire up there. He said there are going to be 40,000 Bulldog fans there. They're going to play for the oil can trophy, so that'll be fun. It was a kind of a fun press conference, and we were chiding him, needling him on different things. But Aztecs coming off a bye week, so they've had 2 weeks to prepare for Bulldog football. And who's Fresno's quarterback? His name is E.J. Warner. He's the son of the legend Kurt Warner.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I saw a little clip about him that was saying that E.J. Warner can kind of go through these like streaks where he makes one bad play, then he makes 2 bad plays. He doesn't have the ability to sort of shake it off.
He's got 11 touchdowns, 10 picks.
Yeah, wow. That is Kurt Warner's kid.
But he throws for a hell of a lot of yards.
I mean, if you could take like Sean Lewis and you said he recharges batteries.
Oh,
it's like a weapon of mass destruction. I mean, that guy's going to explode. I mean, that must have been an amazing press conference.
A lot of coffee. Dude must drink a lot of Red Bull and coffee in the morning.
Right, but I'm happy for them. They're getting votes in the top 25.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
So you got both the Aztec football and basketball programs are kind of looming.
But, we got Aztecs Fresno, still to come Aztecs at Hawaii, still to come Aztecs Boise. So the schedule is right there in front of them.
It's perfect.
Okay, we go from that. You're a college football fan. Jump on board. Tomorrow night, NBA starts.
Yeah, the NBA starts, and with the new look lineups for the Lakers and Clippers.
Yeah, let's just talk briefly. Lakers play Tuesday night. Clippers play on Wednesday. No LeBron James. They're saying now another 4 to 6 weeks. This sciatica situation in his back, trust me, dude, this takes a long time to heal. Anyhow, he's not going to play. The burning question will be, is it going to be a hodgepodge lineup? I mean, we know Luka and we know Austin Reeves. What kind of player is DeAndre Ayton going to be in the paint for the Lakers? I think the Lakers still have enormous questions about depth, responsibility, trustworthy guys. Once you've gone through the starting lineup, you look down the bench, huh? So you got that. Clippers open on Wednesday. They play Utah, oldest team in the league. But they got 3 veteran guards. They got Kawhi, and they got 2 really good centers in Zubac and Brook Lopez. I think the Clippers are going to have themselves a really good season. Lakers, to me, are a very suspect team. And John Riley's opinion from left field is?
This is one from left field. I don't know if you've saw this TV ad. It might be Amazon Prime. I'm not sure, but it's like they're delivering it's an NBA ad. It's an NBA ad talking about how the season's starting, and these cardboard boxes show up on the front door, and these NBA players bust out of the box, like they're ready to go. And one of them was Luka. And you should have seen him. I mean, it looked like a different guy.
Yep.
I mean, he looked really fit. I mean, just the chiseled face and the bone structure of his jaw looked a lot different because he's lean and mean, ready to go.
Yeah. So NBA starts tomorrow. Long haul. We'll see where it goes. Speaking of basketball, let's talk college hoops.
Yeah, San Diego State UCLA scrimmage. That was something.
Yeah, a little bit good, a little bit bad, a little bit ugly. Couldn't believe San Diego State. I mean, the town was so amped. It was an exhibition game. Town was so amped. And UCLA went 17-0 right out of the gate. Aztecs were 0 for 9 with 10 turnovers in the first 8 minutes of the game. It was 17-0 UCLA. Donovan Dent, Sky Clark combined for 31 for the Bruins. But the Aztecs rallied. They settled down in the second half. They took a 21-point deficit and cut it down to 4, but they ran out of gas. Reese Waters, pretty good game. First game back in more than a year and a half, 19 points. Miles Bird, 1 for 6 shooting. Magoon Guath is still a ways away from being able to play. But to me, I guess the key word in my conversation with that scrimmage, that exhibition game, teachable moment. Yeah. That's all Brian Dutcher wanted. So, now the question is, how far into November is it going to be before Guath is going to be able to play? Because he's only doing offensive skill work. He's not doing scrimmage. He's not doing any of that other stuff. So how long before he gets on the floor? But, man, talk about taking the air out of the balloon, silencing the crowd, 17-0 start for UCLA. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, like to your point, I think it's a good teachable moment. I mean, Mick Cronin played Donovan Dent, I think 33 minutes, and I think that Sky Moore played over 30 minutes, and Dutcher was getting this whole bench involved. So they had different objectives, and yeah, they started off cold, but the second half they were red hot. So there's a lot to like here. There were 2 dudes that fouled out. They got to work on defense, and they, like you say, they have some film, but there's one angle to this, and I don't know if you saw, was it in Ziegler's 3 Things article? At the beginning of the game when the fans there, they clap, this rhythmic clap.
Went on for 8 minutes.
Yes. And so, I go to a lot of games, and there's every once in a while they have one of those games where it takes them 5, 6, 7 possessions to get a bucket. And those claps get really uncomfortable, very awkward. We all kind of lose the rhythm and we all just want to sit down. I mean, I just wonder if they should just get rid of that whole thing. I
did a game at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, in the early stages of Boeheim's career. And they have a tradition there where the fans stomp their feet on these aluminum seats until the other team scores.
Oh, until the other team scores.
And it went 7 minutes.
Okay, now see, I like that because that puts a lot of pressure on the team to score when the whole crowd is chanting for you to score. And especially if you're the home team, these kids want to impress. They try too hard. The shots don't fall. I mean, I think as fans, we're putting too much pressure on our kids. I like the idea. Put the pressure on the other guys.
Okay. All things basketball, Aztec fan, if you can get through, don't shoot an air ball. Shoot a three-pointer if you think you get on fans' form. Quickly, NHL notebook.
NHL, we got the Panthers, the Senators, and the Kings.
Yeah, opening week of the season. This is getting worse. The Florida Panthers, Stanley Cup and all that, they do not have Alexander Barkov, and they do not have Matthew Tkachuk, and they're not going to have him. Barkov's gone for the year. Tkachuk is out at least 8 weeks. Both of those guys coming off surgery. So this is a real jolt to the Stanley Cup winners. Ottawa lost the other Tkachuk, Brady Tkachuk. I saw the play. He fell on his wrist. He's going to be gone at least 4 weeks, maybe 8 weeks. They're talking wrist surgery for him. And the LA Kings, what a bad start to the season. They have only 1 win in their first 6 games, and they lose Anze Kopitar. He's out with a leg injury. They're saying at least 4 weeks for him, and their starting goaltender had gone down with a, quote, lower body injury. So Kings, so much excitement about the Kings, but now they're on this long road trip, and I think their record is 1-3-2. So we got hockey to talk about. Last topic.
Well, I was just going to say, we don't ever talk about the Ottawa Senators. No. It's rare.
Yeah. Well, Tkachuk is a hell of a player. He is their player, but now he's gone.
Okay.
Last topic on the table before we get to the fans forum. Sports Wire, late breaking stories.
The high-speed sports wire, the Holiday Bowl at the top.
I don't like this story at all. I don't subscribe to this at all. They got real problems. The community needs to do an intervention. We're talking about the Holiday Bowl people evidently being offered $4 million to take the Holiday Bowl game out of San Diego in January and move it to Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia?
Can't do that. Can't do that. Their executive director flew there and met with those people. The Atlantic Coast Conference, who they have the contract with, says absolutely not. We do not want to be part and parcel of anything to do with blood money, Saudi Arabia. So the Holiday Bowl has put that idea to rest, but they did go in the middle of the summer to meet with people. The Saudis are trying to buy their way into everything.
Isn't that Bruce Binkowski?
It was Bruce Binkowski. It's Mark Neville, who's replaced Bruce years ago.
Okay.
So can't work. There is an issue. We need a civic drive to rally the Holiday Bowl. They don't have a title sponsor. They've been victimized by the college football playoffs that are taking all the marquee teams. They have a conference affiliation, but it's not what it was before. Somehow, some way, influential people in San Diego need to step front and center, form a coalition to save the Holiday Bowl, because this makes no sense at all. Take your game to Saudi Arabia for $4 million on a one-off 1 year. They're not going to do it, but it shows the problems they have. Las Vegas Golden Knights, NHL. They signed Carter Hart, the Philadelphia Flyers goaltender, the kid that was involved in the London 5 rape trial.
Oh.
He is the only player of those 5 who were found innocent. Only player that signed a contract in the NHL so far. Carter Hart is eligible to join the Vegas Golden Knights on December 1st. Soccer, Team USA. I hate to hear this. Christian Pulisic, minor tear of his hamstring, playing in the friendly games last week for the U.S. side. He's going back to AC Milan for medical care. He scored 7 goals his first 6 games for AC Milan. He's the reason they're having such a great season. But they're saying he could be out 4 weeks, if not longer. That's not good, obviously, for Pochettino's U.S. side. And Trinity Rodman, one of the stars of the U.S. women's team, has re-injured her knee again and has gone to see a specialist. She looks as if she's out indefinitely. And in Formula One racing, there is no solution to what's gone on with Team McLaren. I've followed auto racing forever. You know, and auto racing teams have multiple cars, multiple drivers. This thing is in self-destruct mode with Team McLaren. They had their 4th incident this season of the 2 drivers crashing each other this past weekend. They have this philosophy, boys will be boys. Well, you can't have your 2 drivers fighting for the lead, knock each other out of the race. It's happened a 4th time between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. Max Verstappen, meanwhile, won another race. He's won 3 of the last 4 F1 races, and he's closed the points championship down to about 40 points. He's chasing Piastri, who's going stone cold the second half because he keeps wrecking with his teammate. I've never seen anything like that at all. You want to comment on the Holiday Bowl? Go ahead, John.
Holiday Bowl, yeah, in Saudi Arabia. That dog don't hunt. How come you don't have San Diego FC on your list? I mean, they qualify for the playoffs. They're going to be number 1 seed in the West.
We'll talk about it on Thursday once they find out who they're going to play.
Okay, all right. Andrew Dyers, man, he's been just amazing.
That guy might be the MVP in the league, except that Lionel Messi plays in the MLS.
Yeah, but I see this. Yeah, the Holiday Bowl. I mean, I'm glad they turned that one down. I mean, especially it's the Holiday Bowl. You know, it's like an American holiday, or even like holiday is really kind of derived from Holy Day. And then that's a whole can of worms, right? So at any rate, I saw Christian Pulisic when he got injured. It didn't look like it was that much, right. But then they ended up like kind of having people they were walking him off the field. I remember it looked like it was a lot more serious when he was walking off the field.
Minor tear of the hamstring, but that's a hamstring. You need your wheels to be able to play.
Well.
Okay, those are hot topics on the table. You got to comment on the Holiday Bowl. Please volunteer an opinion. Time for Fans Forum. This chat box is open for business. Podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. You got projects. They've got ideas. They got materials. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things that they have to offer. Man, we've had an awful lot to talk about today. This thing is blowing up. I can't believe how many people are lined up here on the side box who have got questions, answers, and statements to make. John, go ahead.
Okay, let's go here with Derek. Talk some Dodgers ball. And he goes, hey, was Ohtani's Game 4 the greatest individual performance in a baseball game ever?
Well, outside of Doc Holliday throwing a no-hitter in the postseason, which is a phenomenal individual accomplishment, outside of Reggie Jackson hitting 3 home runs, this in terms of a one-off, this had to be the greatest of modern time. And, you know, I know he's a Dodger, and I know San Diego people don't like people in L.A. Appreciate the accomplishment, because I swear to you people, we are never, ever going to see a player of this magnitude, multidimensional, as we're seeing right now from Showtime.
Yeah, I mean, it was just insane. I mean, this guy is a freak. I mean, it's just so over the top talented. I mean, there's no comparison in any other sport either. I mean, I remember one of the football games I was watching, they were trying to say, you know, it's like throwing 4 touchdown passes and then sacking the quarterback 4 times. I mean, no one does that.
And he struck out 10 batters to boot, in addition to hitting 3 bombs.
Yeah. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, what is it, I mean, about him that just makes him so darn good? I mean, it obviously physically, he's built like an amazing athlete, but there's a million of those guys.
I think we've seen since he became a Dodger, because we never hardly ever saw him, the Angels. The Angels aren't on TV down here, and the Angels have been very good, so they weren't on national TV. But you look at his stride and you look at the power behind his stroke.
Oh, yeah.
That's the thing to me that is the most impressive. And now we see him as a pitcher, and you look at the ball movement with what he's doing, just unbelievable. Now, he's 31 years of age. He's not a kid. Most people think, oh, Ohtani's a young guy. He's not. He's actually really a vested Major League veteran. But what an accomplishment of all time.
Yeah. And of course, it's with the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay, let's go here to Jason. Hey, Preller is not responsible for what happens on the field. The players are. He did everything he could to win. Players did not get it done. Bats are afraid.
Well, the players failed. Players choked. True. But at the end of the day, he is the one that's charged with putting together the package, the roster, the product on the field. And I think when you have 90 and 93 win seasons and you're in the pennant race and you see how the community's responded, that's because Preller's done his job. Now, the players didn't do their job at the end of the season, but this spins back to the big argument about what's going on upstairs and the barbed wire rolling down the hallway and Eric Grupner's on one side and Preller's on the other. Solve this situation. Grupner is an all-star as it relates to the ability to market and run a stadium. Preller's done a great job making the product so good that fans want to come to Petco Park. Don't implode this front office. That's my opinion.
Yeah, there's some people here like Jason are like, yeah, Preller, he hasn't done anything wrong or he's not to blame. And other people are like, fire Preller, he's the problem. And if they're not complaining about Preller's assembly of the roster, you know, because they'll talk about this weakness or that weakness. They're upset with Preller for trading the farm away. They're upset for Preller for creating a toxic culture. You know, there's just all these theories. I mean, it just makes you wonder, like, if you are a person, an employee for the Padres, and you know the truth of what's going on, it must be entertaining in a weird way that some things you hear are completely fake and other things you hear are true, but the media doesn't quite have it right. I mean, so we're just sort of guessing, aren't we?
A little bit, but you're connecting dots from people you trust in baseball. I mean, I deal with retired executives who are in the know. I deal with agents who have opinions and obviously some form of inside information. So every working guy in the media has those contacts. And then you try to piece it together and say, this is the theory that I have as to what happened. And the Schilt thing, the minute that got out, then all of a sudden the St. Louis stuff got out. All of a sudden, everybody in St. Louis started talking about what the hell happened with Schilt behind closed doors.
Who's your favorite manager of all time?
Oh, my God.
Or who do you think it was the best manager of all time?
Well, I grew up in the baseball era. I grew up with Casey Stengel, who I thought was just absurd. But he was really good, but he had great players. He was so different. That's a really hard question. Boy, I'd have to think about that. My brain's too clogged with names right now.
Well, isn't it amazing? Because like there was a pretty wide consensus, let's say 5, 6, 7 years ago, that it was Bob Melvin was like the best manager that exists today. And now look where he is.
Yeah.
So it just seems like, there are special managers that come along that can change a culture in a positive way and create a winning attitude. And there's others that'll self-destruct, and sometimes it's out of their control. It's a weird profession.
Yeah. I mean, Lasorda was tremendous, but I got tired of Lasorda's antics, but that was Lasorda's DNA. I happen to think, and he gets no credit at all. The job that Dave Roberts has done managing personalities, egos, cultures in the Dodger clubhouse is phenomenal. I like Scioscia. I like dealing with Mike Scioscia when he was with the Angels. And he's a little bit old school. I understand that. And it kind of ended really poorly. So, managers have their way they do their business. Then managers have to hope they have good players. Managers have to hope there's no injuries, and they have to manage whatever's going on with the players' private lives. So I think it's a really tough job, and it's a grind. My God, it's 162 games in 180 days.
Bruce Bochy, man. I mean, he could go down as one of the top 3, if not number 1.
4 rings.
Yeah.
Good organizations, too.
But still, I mean, even when he was with the Padres, everyone knew that he was a great manager, even though they didn't have the financial resources to really build a good lineup around him. But I've heard stories online, they're talking about how behind closed doors, Boch was real tough on his assistant managers as well. He'd really challenge Flannery and some of these other guys to get their act together and to hold up their side of, the overall team package, to get their guys going, and say, yeah, Boch may be one of the best.
Okay, we move on.
Okay, let's go here to T. Will. Hey, who does Saw have tonight, Toronto or Seattle?
Boy, Seattle's young pitchers, I don't know, it appears to me the stage is too big. That's been the biggest surprise to me. I mean, I thought Mariners, after the Mariners won those first 2 games, I thought this is going to be a walk in the park. I couldn't believe Toronto was down 2-0 and having to go to the Northwest to play, but then Toronto bounced back, and Toronto's just hitting the hell out of the ball. So I don't know if the stage is too big for Seattle's young starting pitchers, but they need Kirby to come out tonight and do it. Who's got the better batting order? I really like all the things that Seattle's got in their batting order. But boy, Vlad Guerrero is he's having a kind of year that everybody expected Vlad Guerrero to have. So it's going to be fun. But the Dodgers, I'm sorry. The Dodgers are up here. The rest of baseball is here. Am I right or am I right?
Dodgers. Okay. I mean, like right here, Derek says, Saw is smart. He has the Jays, LOL. So it's been a hell of a series. I mean, it just, after the first 2 games, you thought, oh my God, Seattle's just going to roll. And then all of a sudden the momentum swings back to Toronto and you're like, oh my God, Seattle's cursed again. And now Seattle seems to, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. It's a game 7 though.
Does either one have any pitching left? Dan Wilson sat there, has kind of burned through all of his pitchers, and I think he mishandled the kid's starting pitcher. So all hands on deck. We'll just say who's got enough arms.
Just a side story on Dan Wilson. I remember reading a story once that there was a bar in Seattle that they had a certain beer. I don't know what brand it was, some kind of obscure one. And the price of a pint of that beer was whatever his batting average was as a catcher, so sometimes it'd be like $1.94 or it'd be like $2.32, so I think that's funny. That's funny that now he's back in charge running that team. I want Seattle to win, but both of those teams are just going to get rolled by LA.
Yeah. Sorry, LA's here. Everybody else is down here watching the World Series. Thank you, Derek. Go ahead.
Okay, let's go here to Jeff. East Coast media must be going crazy after the Giants gave up 33 points in the 4th quarter and another Jets loss.
I just don't understand how in the world, after the Giants got a 19-0 lead, they could not get first downs in the 4th quarter. They kept going 3 and out or turnover, and then bingo. I mean, Denver had scoring drives with 33, 51, and 56 yards. 3 possessions resulted in touchdowns that quickly.
Well, yards or seconds?
Seconds. Yeah. They just kept hitting the Giants with big plays. It may be the all-time worst 4th quarter collapse in the history of the NFL.
Well, didn't you say that the Giants had a great defense and then they added Abdul Carter and they were going to be like super loaded?
But they were on the field the whole 4th quarter. You give up 295 yards in chunk plays, can't get off the field.
Yeah. Yeah, Peyton and Nix. I mean, that's a pretty potent combination.
I think so.
Yeah, wow.
So here comes Denver. Kansas City looks like they're back. Chargers are in big trouble. And there's a new definition of the black hole, what that means in terms of Raiders football. AFC West looks so weird right now. Mm-hmm. Jeff, thanks for being with us.
Okay, let's go to Gustavo. Hey, Hacksaw, it's true that the Padres want to hire Albert Pujols as the manager.
Yes. In fact, it may well be that they were interviewing him today. I was a bit surprised that the story filtered out late last night that the talks had ended with the Angels, because most people, the opinion that's a slam dunk. And I don't know whether the Angels got cold feet, whether they're concerned that Pujols has no managerial experience to really speak of, or whether it was just strictly a financial situation, because Pujols made a lot of money and then was on a personal services contract to Arte Moreno. But Pujols, I'm led to believe this week is interviewing with the Orioles, and obviously is it might have happened today or is happening today with the Padres. So Pujols wants to be a major league manager, but there's so many other good guys out there. You know, the Padres have to cross the bridge. Are we willing to hire somebody who's got no experience at all, like Pujols, or a guy like Mark Loretta? Are we going to hire somebody who's got a lot of baseball expertise, who's been a coach and a player, and then worked in the front office, like a Nick Hundley? I don't know what direction AJ's leaning towards.
I've heard a number of people online, as well as other people in the sports journalist business. I'm trying to remember the names exactly, but they were all saying it'd be kind of cool to have like the all-star Latin coaching staff. Mm-hmm. You know, not only, you know, to be able to have guys that a lot of the people on that bench, like, you know, if Albert Pujols was the manager, instant respect, right? Mm-hmm. Right when he walks in. But you'd have like guys that would understand like the Dominican culture and know how to interact with these young athletes. I mean, it could be like a bold breath of fresh air rather than some old stodgy, you know, baseball guy that's been around for 30 years.
Yeah, but baseball, John, has become so global that you have different coaches who come from different cultures who then interact with the players from those cultures. And that's why the Padres have Japanese people who work in their front office and work on that coaching staff to deal with the players they bring from the Pacific Rim. And you've got players from the Dominican, and you got players from Mexico, and coaches with that background in them too. So I don't think that's as big a thing. The only concern I have, and I speak from personal experience, you hire a superstar who's never, ever been a manager, the learning curve is really steep. I was in Cleveland when they hired Frank Robinson.
Oh.
And he was player manager at the point that they hired him. I had just gone to Cleveland to work covering the Indians, and he was lost. And he was a player, and they wanted him to hit home runs as a DH. He was a manager, and he just could not handle the everyday business of being a manager. He was
the first black manager, though.
Yes.
I mean, he probably had, you know, all the eyeballs looking at him.
Yeah, but he became a great manager years down the road. But
he went to the Giants.
Yeah, it was really hard. And they eventually got rid of him just because he just could not cope with all the aspects of being a manager and all those responsibilities. So if you're going to hire somebody that's never, ever done it, your coach, that's a grind. And you're interacting with your manager when you're his third base coach or his bench coach, so you know how hard it is. But if you've never, ever done it and you've just been a star.
Well, essentially the Dodgers hired someone who had never, ever done it, other than, you know, like a couple of games as the interim manager of the Padres. Mm-hmm. So we can find examples of this both ways all the time. I mean, you get these young savants that come in and they push the right buttons and boom, they win. I mean, you know, Mark Loretta could be hired, certainly deserving, has the brains to do it, never managed anywhere. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Okay, we move on.
Okay, just another quick one here from T. Will that I thought was worthy. He goes, yeah, but Vladdy showed up at the stadium today wearing an Austin Matthews jersey to a Game 7. Austin Matthews.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Vladdy is an icon. Of course, he's got the mega contract now to stay with the Toronto Blue Jays. And, you know, Vladdy, if you look closely at Guerrero, he's a different player this year than he was a year ago this week. He was portly last year. I thought he was overweight. He didn't hit well. I didn't think he ran well. He's become kind of an emotional flag carrier for that franchise. And, of course, he's had a tremendous statistical season. So he's arrived as a great player, and he's arrived as a leader of the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, Toronto fan loves that.
Oh,
right?
and showing up to represent the Maple Leafs. That
well, yeah,
he'll be in their hearts forever.
Yeah, exactly. Bring that tough guy mentality. Okay, here's a fun one from Run DMC. Down it, firefighter.
Damn right, Claustel Beer. Next one.
Okay, next one. Let's go down the list to John. He goes, "Hey, I was there Friday night. Absolutely amazing."
When I saw Ohtani hit that ball over the pavilion, I could not believe anybody could power a ball that far. Now, Willie Stargell, I'm led to believe Willie Stargell, the Pirates, hit one in that area also. He's might be the only other one that's launched one over the pavilion roof. But for Ohtani to do it, and then for Ohtani to hit 3 home runs in one game after striking out 10 batters, just Hollywood. It's Hollywood.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. It's just like the movie The Natural, you know? Just, I mean, like I said, when he hit the 3rd home run, it probably should have hit the lighting standard and sparkles come down, you know? And the whole thing is just, yeah, you know, they're the Dodgers. Yeah, they're preordained.
Just appreciate the accomplishment. You know, baseball, they've been playing baseball since the 1890s, and we're seeing great players. And Babe Ruth was obviously the greatest of the two-way guys. I don't think we will ever see this ever again. This kind of dominance as a pitcher, this kind of dominance as a power hitter, this kind of persona too. There's a joy when you watch Ohtani play, John. Tell me if I'm wrong, but there's a joy that circles him in the way he plays.
Oh yeah, you know, like this whole thing, you know. And he plays this sort of naive, you know, foreigner from out of town, you know, and he just kills it. I mean, he's just so good. Okay. Let's go here to Justice. He goes, Ken Caminiti to be interviewed. Okay. Moving on down. John says, hey, 2 names I'm not hearing about for any of the MLB openings, Mike Rizzo and Dave Martinez. They won a World Series when the Nats ownership was still spending money.
I am surprised that Rizzo has not been interviewed. At least I thought that he was going to get a look-see in Colorado, and it has not happened. Looks like the Rockies are going to hire somebody from the Blue Jays. But there aren't that many general managers' jobs open. Martinez, some of his managerial decisions in recent years weren't very good. Maybe he was a little bit high maintenance. So at this point, maybe he's just not held in high esteem, despite the success he had early, because Rizzo gave him a really good team. I mean, at the end of the day, when you look at the pitching they had and all the big bats that they had and who they signed, who they drafted, there was a window there where the Washington Nationals were pretty damn good, but that was all Mike Rizzo's doing.
It's funny how certain names kind of get hot, you know, and there's all the buzz, and then certain names
disappear.
Yeah, they kind of fall off the edge of the table.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's keep on trucking here. We'll go here to Arnell. Hey, do you think Alex A-Rod Rodriguez would make a good manager? He would at least put asses in the seats.
I don't think he's good on TV, so why would he make a good manager? No, I don't think so. I just have a historical perspective of A-Rod, A-Fraud, that just is, to me, is a real turnoff. And no, and he's never shown any interest in being a front office guy. Now, I don't know if people realize this. He's part of a consortium that bought the NBA Minnesota Timberwolves. This is their first year. This thing finally got approved after about a year and a half of struggles to raise the kind of money, but they bought the Minnesota T-Wolves. So he will be visible in the Twin Cities as one of their co-owners with Mark Lair. But no, he's never shown any inkling to want to do that.
Yeah, A-Rod has cringe moments quite a bit.
Oh, you think?
You know, and you're like, but there's a lot of people that are kind of down on A-Rod. They don't like what he says on TV, and they don't think he's really that good of a guy. But I don't know. I don't understand why he gets all these gigs. You know, I mean, he's doing the play-by-play or color commentating. He's in the studio with his buddies Jeter and Big Papi.
It's a name thing. That's
it's a name thing, but it's like, who loves A-Rod?
I haven't found very many people.
No. I mean, there's Jeter lovers and there's Big Papi lovers and no A-Rod lovers. I mean, even Jennifer Lopez doesn't like A-Rod anymore.
A-Rod was a cheat. Period, exclamation point. He did get suspended, did he not?
Yeah, he did.
Okay, end of discussion. Thanks, O'Neill.
Okay, let's go here to Michael. He goes, hey, how about them Vegas Golden Knights, Lee? Good game tonight against undefeated Carolina.
Let's see if they can continue to play well. It's interesting. I mean, obviously, they signed Eichel to the big money contract. It is interesting. Marner, 0 goals to start the season. I think he's feeling some kind of pressure there. And they've got a goaltending injury. Aiden Hill is hurt now. Now, they just signed Carter Hart, the ex-Philadelphia Flyer, though he can't join them until December 1st. It's a good team. There's no doubt about it. And Marner is going to score goals. How's Marner going to score 40? That remains to be seen. What he left behind reputation-wise with the Maple Leafs, not real good, despite all the success that he had on the ice there. So Vegas is good. There's no doubt about it. And some of these teams out west have not started the season very well. Dallas is not. The Kings have not, which is a real surprise.
There are a lot of Golden Knights fans who watch this podcast.
Is that right?
Yeah. Well, Lenny, of course, is always on here talking about Golden Knights. But there's a lot of other people commenting about the team. So all good.
Yeah, well, they've had great success. I mean, that's been one of the most unique things of they gave them that franchise. That franchise was good right from the get-go. Okay, next one.
Next one. Let's go to Chris. Hey, one thing you missed about the Dodgers, a weak bullpen suddenly anchored by a strong Roki Sasaki.
Sasaki's just been unbelievable. 8 innings, 1 run allowed, strikeouts. Now, the burning question, how many of those other guys in the bullpen can you really trust? Although Vessier has pitched well, and so has Banda. So it kind of looks like they got 2 left-handers to get him to Sasaki, and that might be good enough because their starting pitchers are giving them length. And now that was a big question going forward. And, Kershaw's still there. Now, we'll see if Kershaw's on the World Series roster. I would tend to think maybe you want him as an insurance policy long reliever. But the Dodgers are so deep. Just ask Milwaukee. What was the stat that I had? What was it? 1.40 ERA against Milwaukee in the 4-game sweep. Milwaukee won 97 games. Milwaukee hit 101 against Dodger pitching. It's amazing.
It's just all coming together for the LA Dodgers, and then Roki Sasaki is another chapter in the Hollywood story, the Manhattan Project that they cooked up in Oklahoma. And now he's turned into this incredible closer. It's that they got guys in the laboratory just, cooking up these new guys.
He just told them, throw the fastball, throw the splitter, and we'll use you for 1 inning and max effort. And there you are. And his max effort stuff is
he's
electric.
He's really good. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, let's go to Callan. Hey, Daniel Jones for comeback player of the year.
Not a bad call. Not a bad call at all. We'll just see as they go to the second half of the schedule. The schedule gets a little bit tougher, a little bit testier going through the next 6 to 8 weeks of the schedule. But he's got components around him he never had with the New York Football Giants, and that's why he's making plays down the field.
It's interesting to see the players with their helmet off, kind of sitting on the sidelines when the defense is on the field. Mm-hmm. And Daniel Jones is kind of an interesting dude. I mean, he's very kind of quiet.
He's really intellectual.
Yeah. And he's not like the guy out there, cheering on his offensive line or trying to have the pretty boy haircut. He's just quiet. And then he rolls back out there and takes care of business.
Yeah. They've come together so quick. I don't know anybody that thought that this was going to happen. Anthony Richardson obviously may never play in Indianapolis, and he's hurt again. He's got the 3rd major injury. Jonathan Taylor's always been a good back. He was a heavy-duty back at Wisconsin, really good player. Tyler Warren has just shown up, and he's just such a beast, and he kind of fell into their lap in the middle of the first round of the draft. Offensive front, I mean, I follow those guys in the trenches, and they've drafted well there. Ryan Nelson, and they got some really good people in their front, and their defense is playing really, really hard. The secondary is really small, and I thought the Chargers were going to capitalize against it, but the Chargers could not protect Justin Herbert because I saw no way that Indy was going to be able to defend all the size and the speed that the Chargers had coming off the line of scrimmage at wideout, but they couldn't protect. There was no pocket for Herbert, and even though he threw for 421, it was frantic. I mean, he took so many hits, 15 hits in that game yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, Herbert was running for his life. But isn't it interesting when you watch the Colts and they wear those all white uniforms, kind of get a little bit of that Joe Paterno, Penn State, Nittany Lions vibe, right? A little bit. I mean, at least they have a horseshoe on their helmet.
You get the Johnny Unitas vibe.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right, let's keep moving. Let's go here to Casey. Hey, Hacksaw, if UC ends the series with Notre Dame, any idea who they might play in place of them?
What they're talking about now, this is all a schedule conflict problem because Notre Dame has now got this linkage, this alliance with the ACC. I had not heard this till Friday. What they are discussing is to make it a season opening week 0 game. It'd be the last week of August. It would be the way to start the season every year. Have Southern Cal play Notre Dame. That'd be cool. Now, historically, it's always been at the back end of the schedule, but this thing has to go on. I mean, they played it 99 years. I mean, don't cancel the sucker out. That might be the solution. Just add it as that extra week 0 game.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, but do you think like coaches like Lincoln Riley, he's been trying to load up on the cupcakes. He's not going to want to play a tough team right out of the gate.
I don't think he's going to play a 1AA football schedule any longer because now the college football playoffs, they're going to count all these non-conference games. You got to have some validity there. Can't have much more validity than play a Notre Dame in a week 0 game.
Can you imagine if they expanded the schedule? You have like a week -1, a week -2. Okay, let's keep going to KQ. Hey, are the Ravens cooked?
A lot of injuries. I don't think Harbaugh's job is in jeopardy, but just a lot of injuries. And obviously Lamar Jackson with the hamstring, and that does not heal overnight. But just a bad run. I mean, they've drafted really well. Historically, they've always drafted well. They've drafted their type of players who come in and played their system very well. But right now, they just don't have a complete 53-man roster. They got, at one point, 2 weeks ago, they had 7 of their 11 starters on defense out with injury. You can't win.
Or what are they, like 1-5 or 1-6?
1-5.
1-5.
Coming off the bye week.
So I mean, even if you know Lamar Jackson shows up and everyone else shows up, I have to run the table like to really get a wild card
playoffs. That's a big run up the hill. But they are going to get some of the defensive guys back. But I just don't know if it's too little, too late.
Okay, let's keep going. I'll go to Victor. Hey, that UCLA game had quite an ending.
Really did. I mean, this is. It is amazing. Nico Amalaiva has done a great job at quarterback. They're still not running the ball with very much consistency, but he's making so many plays, run and throw. He's kind of a one-man gang. They didn't beat a good Maryland team, but they got it done, and they beat it on a long field goal in the final play of the end. They won 3 in a row. I don't know anybody in the world thought they're going to win 3 in a row, but there's still a bunch of Big Ten games still to be played.
Well, just give the coaching job to Skipper, man. I mean, the guy deserves it, doesn't he?
Well, at this point, so far so good. If they keep winning, they're going to have to give it to him.
Well, what? I mean, obviously the big thing that changed was Deshaun Foster, but I mean, is it because Deshaun Foster was so terrible, or is it because Skipper is so good?
Well, they got rid of both the coordinators. They fired Foster 1 week, then they axed the defensive coordinator, then they axed the offensive coordinator. So Skipper's got some of his own people in place that are doing game plans now, and the X's and O's are a little bit better.
So, the Golden Boy Neuheisel.
Yeah. Wow. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, that was something. Okay, let's go here to Richard. He goes, hey, Fans Forum. The Dodgers are owned by a Wall Street firm with smart business people. Their front office has brilliant baseball minds. Fans complaining they ruin baseball should look at their team.
No, I don't think they ruined baseball. They just took advantage of the marketplace and the resources that they have. And they have not made a lot of mistakes in free agency. And historically, they draft well and they sign well. And then they obviously sign big money free agents too. Baseball's problem is what baseball has allowed to exist, which is all these small market owners take all this revenue share money and not pour it back into the product. That's different than what the Padres have done. And, until baseball gets the floor to spending to match the luxury tax, we're never going to get a cap. But to have the luxury tax can stay in place, but everybody who gets revenue share has to spend to the floor. And the floor might be $130 million. So if the Dodgers can have 383, but everybody has to spend 130, 140, that's going to mean there's more money in Milwaukee or Pittsburgh or Kansas City or Miami, Tampa. They have to spend. More money has to be spent, which means more mid-level veteran players are going to come to those clubs to make those clubs more competitive. That's what they got to get to. This floor to spending, it works in every sport. NFL, NBA, NHL, all have it.
Yeah, I mean, you got like teams like the Green Bay Packers that are relevant, who's not going to have, as much money coming in the door as like an LA or a New York team. Did you say there was a chart I saw online that stack ranked Major League Baseball teams by total revenue and by total payroll, and then by percentage of the revenue was what percentage of revenue was payroll? And there were some teams like the Marlins were only like 35% of their, roughly that, 35% of their revenue went to payroll. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's just a disgrace.
Exactly. And that's what the union has to. Union represents every player. They represent Juan Soto and they represent the 14th pitcher on Pittsburgh's staff. They need to make sure everybody operates by the same financial parameters, which means more money is available in Pittsburgh or Miami and Tampa Bay, because they represent the 25th player on a roster in addition to Juan Soto. And they don't see it that way, and that's wrong. The health of the game, if you had pennant contenders in all these other mid-sized markets because they had to spend to the floor, you imagine the excitement in Pittsburgh and Kansas City and Tampa if you're in the damn playoff race in terms of crowds and revenue you're producing. That makes the whole product better and more profitable, and the players all share from that.
Well, that's assuming people show up and spend money at the gate.
Well, they will if they're in a pennant race.
Well, but they might not. I mean, they might. Like, Artie Moreno spends a lot of money. I mean, imagine for some of these teams that, like Miami, who like barely anybody shows up, and if they spent 60% of their revenue on the team, the other remaining 40% wouldn't be enough to keep the lights on. I mean, there could be some situations like that where certain franchises could be losing money.
No,
but so if they'd have to find a way to protect the owners from allowing that to happen, to incentivize them to spend money.
Florida spending, it has to be mandated. Okay, move on. A couple more here.
Okay, here's 3 quick ones from 2 guys. Michael says, Ohtani needs a drug test to see if he's a cheater.
Oh.
KQ says, yeah, he's definitely on the juice. Ohtani is Barry Bonds. No, there's no way.
I didn't know there were that many people out there that are next to you in left field with opinions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny. I mean, obviously they don't drug test these guys, but
maybe to drug test these guys.
Yeah, they should. Okay, let's more UCLA comments. This is from Emmanuel. He goes, UCLA's won 3 in a row. What are the odds of UCLA making a bowl this season?
Big hill to run up because they still got a bunch of Big Ten games to be played. But so far, so good. The quarterback has really played well. And although I was offended by Nico bailing out of Tennessee and then showing up at the last minute, forcing Joey Aguilar off the roster, Aguilar wound up going to Tennessee and wound up being a trade of quarterbacks. But Nico's played really, really well. But he's going to be there for 15 minutes. He's going to leave. He said, I'm going to the NFL after 1 year at UCLA. I don't know that he's ready for the NFL, but he has played really, really well. And the coaching staff has done some really dynamic things with their players. So far, so good.
I like the UCLA uniforms. I mean, they were just classy.
Old school.
And I saw they had like a throwback. It was kind of like a lighter version of the blue than they normally wear. Not like a powder blue or like the Chargers, but like a silvery blue, So I know. And the dudes, they wear those like gold socks and the gold shoes. It's a cool look.
You're big on aesthetics.
Yeah. Baseball is art. Football is art. Basketball is art.
This guy liked the Savannah Banana uniforms. What's wrong with him?
Okay,
let's do a couple more here before we wrap it up.
From Chris, Johnny Manziel and Jameis Winston, freshmen to win the Heisman.
I totally skipped my mind. It's been so long. For some reason, Tony Dorsett's name is stuck in my mind that he won it as a freshman at the University of Pittsburgh. Maybe I'm wrong. I think Archie Griffin won it as a sophomore and as a junior at Ohio State.
Yeah, Johnny Manziel definitely was a freshman. I don't remember Jameis Winston.
Florida State.
I remember it was Florida State. I just wasn't sure if it was his freshman year. But yeah, right on. Chris, thanks for that. Okay, let's keep on trucking, and we'll go here to foul play. He goes, hey, this show rules, though. So people are kind of smack talking online here. And then Jersey Walcott says, Dodgers pitchers did the same thing to the Pods. Love your stadium, San Diego.
Yep, it's pretty cool. And we haven't had any response from anybody, maybe haven't been able to get through about what Andrew Friedman said about, who cares about winning the baseball trading deadline? The Dodgers win in October. Hey, Padre fans, take that.
Oh, yeah, that was a punch in the nose. Okay, let's go here to Little C. White. As a Commanders fan, not feeling great with the Jaden Daniels injury because Adam Schefter said, as of now, it's not likely he plays against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Way too many hits. I mean, he got hurt at the end of last season. Now he's had 2 major injuries this season, and hamstrings don't heal in 15 minutes. It's just Washington is not having the kind of season I thought they would. They surprised so many people last year, but they've had a bunch of injuries along the offensive line. And Daniels, again, you move the pocket, you run the football, you're going to take hits. And he's gotten whacked, and now he's been hurt twice this season already, and we're only at midway point of the year.
Is Austin Eckler still on that team?
He ruptures his Achilles tendon. He's gone for the year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
That happened about 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Keep on trucking. Let's go to Steven. Hey, the Brewers are trying to trade their ace just to avoid paying him $8 million. This is what's wrong with baseball. then a team like the Dodgers swoops in and signs him.
Well, you're talking about Peralta being on the trade block. That would be sad because for the bulk of what Milwaukee's done, it's been with homegrown products outside of Christian Yelich. And they've gotten guys coming from all different places, guys taking off the stockpile. I mean, Andrew Vaughn came from the White Sox after the White Sox gave up on him, and Vaughn had gotten to Chicago as a young star from the minor leagues, and they thought, well, it's a good career, and then it fell apart. But, boy, he had a good bounce-back season. I don't know why they would want to trade Peralta unless they just feel that the price tag on him is going to get bigger and bigger, and they might as well get something for him now before he becomes a free agent. But that's a blow because he was 17-7.
It's a business, man. I mean, people are making business decisions, and, it kind of sucks as a fan. I mean, you lose these guys, but different teams are playing the game
by different
ways.
Rules.
Yeah, different rules, different strategies. It's interesting. Okay, let's keep on going. Let's go to Danny Boy. Hey, Dodger fans might be right about Manny El Ministro being the common denominator all these years. And he goes on to say, Manny might be making that clubhouse locker room toxic. Maybe that's why Tatis doesn't play to his full potential.
I don't know. I don't know if you can link one to the other. Manny is Manny's persona. Tatis is a great individual player, but I don't know how baseball smart he really is. And there's a lot of personal stuff off the field with Tatis that I don't know that they're ever going to solve. At the end of the day, they've given us 5 great years of baseball at Petco Park. But at the end of the day, they've underachieved virtually every year in postseason play. So have they really accomplished what they need to be? They haven't gotten there. They get to the World Series and you say, this blueprint totally works. Am I wrong or am I rhyming?
Am I wrong or am I rhyming? I don't know. I'm not going to blame Manny for all this. I mean, Manny's a dude. I mean, he's looked upon. I mean, granted, he's not the same as every other dude. He's got his own personality, his own quirks, but I'm not blaming Machado.
But he's a 211 hitter in postseason. His whole life has been failure in October.
He hit a home run in Game 2 against the Cubs and won the game for the Padres.
Have we ever been to World Series?
We have this same dance you and I go through every time. I know. He might have played in a World Series for the Dodgers.
You could argue with me, but you'd be wrong.
Okay, let's go to social media. There's some really good ones in social media. Okay, let's go here to let's talk about Mike Schilt. And oh my gosh, I got this Danny Boy. Can't get Danny Boy off the screen. Okay, here we go. This is from Jeffrey. Hey, because I bet if Schilt didn't have to sign a non-disclosure agreement, I'm positive he would have a different perspective on what's going on in this franchise under AJ and why he walked away with a 2-year extension after a 90-game winning season. It's ironic in the postseason we see the early signs of a franchise under poor leadership to find out that the skipper is leaving. And I've seen it from my seats for the last 11 years.
Well, I guess the burning question, he walked away from all the money. He's not going to get paid. I don't many guys who walk away from $4 million. He left that on the table because he was burned out. But, I mean, the insinuation is his inability to have relationships with people who worked underneath him and treat them nicely led to this whole mess. So that's where we are right now with Mike Schilt. I think great IQ, baseball IQ. I think the guy was a grinder. You have to have a private life. He had no private life. But the stories that broke out of St. Louis within days after Schilt stepped away here and this stuff started to leak in San Diego are just identical. And Cardinal players are of the opinion, how could you hire a staff and then treat them so miserably behind closed doors when you hired them because you thought they were good baseball people? Schilt hid behind the phrase, I have standards. Well, standards include personal relationships, not browbeating and beating them up all the time to the point where your coaches want to leave and don't want to work for you anymore. So it's a much deeper thing than just wins and losses.
I mean, how many guys walk away from their contract and leave money on the table? I mean, it's really rare.
Yeah.
So just kind of, that's why it's such an odd thing to happen. Then it makes me suspicious because it doesn't match it doesn't pass the smell test. Why would he walk away from, $4 million?
Because he was burned out and his health was really suffering because that's who he is. He couldn't.
But it was the off season, man. The dude goes to Cancun. He can chill and kind of come back fresh again.
Unless you've walked that road where you put so much pressure on yourself that you can no longer enjoy success. I mean, I've had NFL coaches who have told me they got out of it because they couldn't handle it anymore. That the joys of victory were so short because the minute you did, you started to worry about the next game and what was going to happen. That there was nothing fulfilling about having success because it was always the next week and the next crisis, and I lost my quarterback or da-da-da-da-da. So I can understand about the whole burnout factor for Schilt.
Yeah, it's just strange. The whole thing is just kind of weird. Okay, I got to share this. This is the funniest Twitter post I think I've seen in a long time. And this was from Jeremy, the pimp lord from 619. And he says, Ben and Woods to energize the soul. Kaplan and crew to achieve inner peace. Quintera to learn. John and Jim to forget. 1904 for fun. Good intelligence for pain. Talking friars when making moves. And hacksaw reels when making love. Pimptacular.
Oh, well, we all come at it from different angles. Some of us are very successful. The others are wannabes.
It's just the funniest thing. You're just listening to like Instagram reels while you're with your lady.
Not I. I tell you what.
It's just funny. I mean, it's just funny.
I can't believe how many friends you have out in left field with your opinions.
Yeah, it's just funny. Okay, let's go. Let's get a more serious comment here. And this is interesting. This guy seems to be in the know. His name is Michael Jenna-Downs, and it's small print, but this is important. He says, you need to take a serious look at a couple or maybe one so-called leader in that clubhouse as part of the problem. I work with Mark Loretta during my Brewers front office years. Mark is due for an opportunity to either manage, general manager, or VP of baseball operations. He's highly intelligent, calm most times, knows baseball, and had a great career on the field for the Padres. I compare him to Craig Counsell with the Cubs, a long playing career, calm, and players trust him. These guys have Robin Yount's qualities, except they're not Robin Yount. The difference is that Mark went to Northwestern University. This should tell you a lot about Mark Loretta.
Thinking man. I think that's the best way to describe Loretta. And he stepped away at the end of his career and decided, I want to experience, he told me, a number of different things. I want to be a coach. I want to see that grind. I want to work in the front office. I want to understand about infrastructure and contracts, etc. He has done all these wide variety of things. So maybe he feels I'm ready to manage now because he's always known players. And now he's learned other aspects to the game prep, obviously player personnel, contracts, etc. Maybe he winds up being a guy. Somebody's got to give him an opportunity. I know Preller likes him. I think Preller respects him because they brought him in here to be kind of an assistant behind the scenes and do a lot of projects.
Yeah, he's been on the podcast with Kaplan a few times, Loretta. And he's obviously, just a brilliant kid, or man, I should say. He's not a bad guy. His name has always sort of been kicked around, you know? I don't know if has he ever interviewed for a manager job somewhere else? Not
that I know of, but he's interviewed for coaching jobs, and he's obviously gone through interviews to get hired to work in somebody's front office as an assistant to the assistant.
Yeah. He's a deserving guy for sure.
Yeah. Thinking man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's a thinking man's game.
Okay, let's do one more here before we put a lid on it.
Okay, this is a good one too. This is from Jonathan. He goes, hey, only the Yankees are the evil empire. Come up with a different name for the Dodgers.
Dodger dollars.
Marcia Brady.
Oh.
That's the Dodgers, man. They're Marcia Brady.
It's going to be fun. I don't know whether the Jays survive or the Mariners survive. It's going to be if it's an all West Coast World Series, that's going to be kind of cool. And I'd like to see DePoto get it because he's such a wheeler dealer and he's worked so hard everywhere he's ever been in Major League Baseball, put a winner. He's got a winner now. But this is the postseason. And I'm looking at this Mariners pitching staff and they look like they have stage fright. And if they get into the Fall Classic against the Dodgers and all those all-stars and all those bats, they might have stage fright. But tell you what, their batting order, that Mariner batting order against the Dodger Gold Standard starting pitching, that'd be fun to see what the first, second, and third innings look like.
Yeah, it's kind of cool seeing Josh Naylor, getting deep in the playoffs. I'm happy for him. But Seattle fans, they deserve this. I mean, they've gone. I mean,
we went through all the bad times with the Seattle Pilots.
Well, yeah, the Pilots, and they never been to the World Series. The Seahawks won one Super Bowl, right?
With Holmgren.
Okay, and then the Supersonics, I think, might have won the NBA championship a couple of times.
The Jack Sikma era.
Like late 70s.
Yeah. And University of Washington under Don James was legendary.
Okay, and then they got Gonzaga out there. I mean, the hockey team, who's the hockey team in
Seattle
Washington?
Kraken.
Oh, the Kraken, but they're new.
Yeah.
So is Vancouver kind of the Seattle hockey team before the Kraken arrived on the scene?
Vancouver's over there.
So they're like a championship starved city, because you'd have to go back to the 1980s when the Huskies were winning national championships. It's been a long time.
So it'd be cool. I think Seattle Dodgers would be kind of a really cool series of storylines, but we'll find out what happens tonight.
Yeah, tonight. Here we go.
Either that or be Dodger Blue versus O Canada, and they love them. They across the Dominion, and that Dominion stretches from British Columbia to Labrador and Newfoundland. Everybody's a Blue Jay fan. That is a countrywide team.
Yeah, I remember when they came into the league, like the Blue Jays, I didn't really understand it, but I like the uniform. I like the way that the font of the numbers has the two stripes, and they've kept that consistent the whole time.
Yep.
It's a good-looking uniform for the Jays. So, yeah, they've already won 2. They won 2 in the 90s.
Yeah, that's some really good teams. The Joe Carter teams are really special.
Robbie Alomar Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great era. And I remember Ricky Henderson was on that team for a while, wasn't he?
And the Bautista bat toss after the home run. It's legendary.
Oh, yeah, and then the Bautista's, Roofnet Odor fight that they had that one time. So there's a lot. It'd be fun to see Seattle or Toronto knock off the Dodgers, but it's going to be a Hollywood script, Lee. The Dodgers are destined to win. It's everything goes the Dodgers' way.
Enjoy Ohtani. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I don't think we'll ever see this again. Hey, listen, we hope you have enjoyed this podcast. Man, we blew this thing up today. It was absolutely amazing how many people were on board. We're here Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. I want you to share, tell everybody what we do, subscribe. That way you get the alerts when we put additional things up on the YouTube channel. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps us. Follow us. Give us a 5-star rating. That helps us a great deal. This podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Build it, fix it. We guarantee you will enjoy it. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. You are entitled, take a break, go get your lawn chair out of left field, and let's just get ready to watch Game 7 tonight. M's, J's, and then we'll be back Thursday to talk about World Series.
Game 7s are always awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a great night.
Have yourself a great evening.
Same to you, Lee.
We will see you on Thursday. Thanks, as always, for being part of our team on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast app.
Touchdown, San Diego!
For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.